winning re-election in 2022. Senator Rubio, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning.
I know it's been a long night. Let's talk about Donald Trump last night saying he had a mandate. We've talked about the United States Senate going to the Republican Party. So we'll have new leadership there, the White House, potentially the House. What do you think the mandate is?
Well, first, I think we have to understand how he won. Not just that he won, but how he won. And he won by putting together the most diverse coalition of American voters in modern history. You were talking a moment ago before I came on the air about Hispanic voters. I think the lesson here is that the primary identity of Americans is American. And whether you're of Hispanic descent or African American, or in any background, you are in, the price of gas, the price of food, the fear of uncertainty, and not being safe in your own community because people have entered the country illegally and happen to be criminals in their home countries before they came, and then they come here and commit crimes as well. Concerns about what's happening in the world, that every day there's new conflict that threatens to pull us in. These are things that that Donald Trump campaigned on. And his primary message was, I'm going to put the interests of Americans and America before anything else. And I think that's a message that's resonated and in a way that led to this very diverse coalition. And so, at the end of the day, I think that is part of the mandate, and that is that Americans of all backgrounds want a government in the Senate, in the White House, in the House, everywhere, that puts them and the things they care about ahead of what is important to somebody else, whether it be in politics or in another country. And, it's an important lesson to learn and take away from all this.
I mean, Donald Trump has been very, very clear about some of the things he wants to do. And so if he has a mandate, people are certainly on notice, talking about mass deportations, for example, talking about ending the war in Ukraine in 24 hours, getting a negotiated settlement that likely will mean Ukraine gives up territory. Is that the kind of thing that you expect to happen in rather short order?
Well, those are the kinds of things that I think people out there like to point to say, oh, he's going to do some terrible thing to the country. Number one,
well, he said that.
The law of the country right now, it is. Yeah, but it's the law of the country. The immigration law of this country is as follows. If you are here unlawfully, you are to be detained until removal. That's the law of the country. He's talking about enforcing our existing laws. He's also made clear that his priority is going to be dangerous criminals. People that are in this country and they're criminals in their home country or they're committing crimes here, they will be the priority for removal from this country. And that's a widespread supermajority position in this country. It's one of the reasons why he won yesterday. In the case of Ukraine, who wants war? What he's talking about is he wants the war to end. Now, as a businessman, he's not going to tell you about his negotiating tactic to bring it to a close, but I don't understand why we would not want a war like that to end. Obviously, you don't have to be a fan of Vladimir Putin to want the war to end.
Yeah, I think if you're, as you well know, many national security conservatives would say, well, you don't want that war to end if it means that you have to give up, that Russia invaded your territory and you end up settling and saying, all right, you can have some of it. I mean, I think that's, these pressure points better than I do.
Yeah, look, I get all that, and I understand it. I think there's the reality of the war there. We can talk about it in greater detail in another interview, I imagine, but the truth of the matter is that that's what the Biden administration would admit. They don't admit it publicly, but if you ask the Biden administration, they will tell you we are funding a stalemate, okay? I think the Ukrainians have been incredibly brave and strong and standing up to Russia, but at the end of the day, what we are funding here is a stalemate war, and it needs to be brought to a conclusion because that country is going to be set back 100 years. Now, that doesn't mean that we celebrate what Vladimir Putin did or are excited about it, but I think there has to also be some common sense here, and that is that right now what we are funding is a stalemate that's costing lives and, putting Ukraine, it's going to take 100 years to rebuild that poor country with everything they are facing.
Senator, can't let you go without asking the Washington question. Do you intend to serve in the Trump administration? Is that something you've talked to the former president about?
No, we haven't talked about that. We were focused on Pennsylvania. We talked a lot about Pennsylvania. We talked a lot about Nevada. We talked a lot about Wisconsin and Michigan, and not so much about Florida anymore. We're very proud. Well, listen, I'm in public service. I'm not trying to play quiet. I'm in public service. I like to serve our country. So I'm not going to be presumptuous about any of those things other than to say that I know I'm in the Senate. And if that's the role I'm going to continue to be in, it's a place that I can serve and work with this administration on things that we were already working on when he was previously president. And what happens after that, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, we're not even 12 hours removed from the outcome in this election. So, again, I mean, those are decisions they'll start working through right now.
All right, Senator Marco Rubio, I saw you at the party late last night, and you're up early with us. Appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.